In this Feast Montana original story,
I'm serving these sort of Asian mountain cuisines, and I'm doing it in the mountains in Montana, and that makes a lot of sense to me. And it also makes a lot of sense when it comes to sourcing food. You know, I'm cooking food that is appropriate for this place, that allows me to use the things that are produced in this place.
Knowing that the food that I'm bringing to the community is potentially helping them, it spurs me on to learn more and try to do better each season.
Thinking in terms of this is a really complex system that we're playing with, and that's where the art of it comes in, is how hard to push, when to push, and then when to back off and just kind of get a feel for what the land needs.
I've been trying to get out here for 2 years. I'm excited to be here and be out of the restaurant.
This is why I love to bring chefs out, chefs that are using our products, and just, you know, show them what we're doing.
I think the best green curries are made with beef, and I use Wickens beef for the green curry, so I wanted to cook it here for them.
It did take me a while to sort of pin down the concept of Shan. I'm cooking food from mountainous parts of Asia. I cook a lot of Sichuan food, some things from Yunnan, from Gansu in China. And then on the other side of those mountains, stuff from like Laos and northern Thailand. I started my career in China writing about food and learning the cuisines, like sort of regional Chinese food. And then from China in 2008, I moved to Thailand. I opened several restaurants in Bangkok, Soul Food Mahanakorn, Appia, Pepina, and a couple different iterations of those restaurants. Shan is super laid back. It's a friendly restaurant. I like to come out, talk to the guests, answer questions. You know, it's a place to meet people and hang out and drink and listen to good music. We have lots of really interesting wines, locally sourced food. The food is spicy. It sort of lights up your palate, and I just want it to be fun. It's not too serious. So Shan is the Mandarin word for mountains, and the character itself looks like mountains. And I chose that because that's sort of the inspiration for what we're doing here. You know, I'm cooking food that is appropriate for this place, that allows me to use the things that are produced in this place. So I called it Shan. The reason why I'm cooking this sort of landlocked Asian food is because a lot of the products are the same. You know, they use a lot of beef, pork, chicken, duck. I use bison in this restaurant in place of what while in northern Thailand you might eat like water buffalo. In Lap, here I'll use bison. I think it's quite similar. The conceit of the restaurant is that I'm serving these sort of Asian mountain cuisines, and I'm doing it in the mountains in Montana, and that makes a lot of sense to me. And it also makes a lot of sense when it comes to sourcing food. When I was cooking in Bangkok, I was working with local farms in Chiang Mai or like regionally. I'm basically cooking things that I know how to cook from my past here in Montana, and I'm trying to use as many local products as possible. We work with lots of different ranchers. I source local pork, some from Chinese breeds that are hard to find in China, let alone in Montana. You know, I work with Wickens Ranch. I work with some bison producer in Red Lodge, local lamb from Chicken Creek and a couple other spots, Chance Farms, Gallatin Valley Botanical, sporadic mushrooms. I love having relationships with the people that produce our food, and the ability to actually go to the source of the food and understand like the processes of the ranchers and the farmers is really helpful for me as a cook. How's it going, man?
Good to see you.
Working with Chance Farms has been great. I am consistently amazed at how many vegetables and that they can grow in that small farm, and also like the quality of the vegetables is incredible. We like to stir fry local vegetables in the wok, whether it's like bok choy or Napa cabbage. We source some herbs from them. We use a lot of cilantro. Right now I have an heirloom tomato salad on the menu. It really depends what they have and how I can kind of work it into the food that we're cooking here.
I'm pretty excited about this round because it's They're right at the end of the season for us. I wasn't sure they were going to size up in time, and these are very tasty. I got very focused that I was going to farm in some way, and I tried a variety of working on a blueberry farm, working on a flower farm. I worked on a couple of vegetable farms, and then a commercial pine tree farm that was conventional. And it was just getting a feel for what I wanted to do, but I always knew that I wanted to be outside, working with my hands, being able to actually see a result of my work, and something that, in this case, that I could taste. Shan's farm is about growing a variety of vegetables that we've put a lot of, and when I say we, I mean the crew that is here, a lot of energy, time, and love into producing the best quality that we can. We are trying to grow good food for this community, so it's mostly Gallatin Valley and a little bit of the surrounding area. As far as Shan's farm is concerned, the name came about because I couldn't think of anything better, to be honest. My dad convinced me that it was good enough to just name it by my own name. We grow over 30 varieties of vegetables. We tend to grow heavy on lettuce and tomatoes. Ones that actually grow very well here are carrots and beets. It's the right type of climate for them. We also grow multiple types of herbs: cilantro, dill, thyme, mint, oregano. We grow a little lavender, a couple of flowers, lots of basil, lots and lots of basil, peppers. So these are the heirloom tomatoes we grow for the farm. Jarrett from Shan loves to cook with these. What we have here on the right is a darker tomato. We just did harvest, but they're a rich, meaty tomato. On the left is a yellow that ends up having kind of a red striped bottom. It's a really sweet tomato, mild acid. It's great for, well, just eating fresh, frankly. The greenhouses that we grow in, they really help us a lot because our season is so volatile. So September, we still have very hot days. Yesterday was 91 degrees. This morning, I think it was 48. And that fluctuation in temperature can make it challenging for a lot of plants to really flourish. And these tunnels allow us to grow a better quality vegetable. So for instance, we have jalapenos over here. This time of year, if we were growing them outside, the heat would be dropping off, flavor wouldn't be as good. But I know for a fact that these taste a lot better just because of what this greenhouse does for us. So that's how we extend our seasons and grow a little bit longer and grow a better vegetable. This pepper is Rio del Oro, and this is one that I grew one year and it wasn't a lot of interest, but I really like it because it does this sunset color of red to yellow, and when it sweetens up, or when it turns red, it gets really sweet and it's hotter than a jalapeno. And it's a thick wall. It's like a bell pepper sweetness, and the same heat of a jalapeno. This is a great one to put in a dish and stir fry with, just because, if you're a fan of the heat and the sweetness, great combination right there. So for fresh ginger, it's got just a brighter flavor. It's still got kind of the same bite, maybe a little bit more mild. Even the leaves have this kind of lemony ginger flavor that you can make tea from it. I feel like this is a really great vegetable to add to after you finished cooking, adding just a thin slice of it because it just brightens up the whole dish. So anyway, we're experimenting with it in this unheated tunnel because I've been doing it in heated tunnels in the past. It's worked really well, and we're trying to expand it more because lots of people are passionate about it. The quality of food and what you put in your body, it makes you a healthier person. It's not just a physical thing, it's mentally you're healthier if you're really, for me, paying attention to what you put into your body. And so knowing that the food that I'm bringing to the community is potentially helping them, that's a great thing to know. It spurs me on to learn more and try to do better each season. Going to restaurants like Shan, they're using produce from my farm and from other farms to produce these amazing dishes. Chef Jarrett does an amazing job with these. That's one of the places that I will be frequenting more in the future, just because it takes produce that is already crisp and fresh and vibrant with flavor and just takes it to another level.
Before I even opened this restaurant, I think the first ranch that I contacted was Wickens to see if their beef was available for use in restaurants. And since then, I've grown to know Eric pretty well and like the family. And what they do is their product is incredibly consistent. They have a really unique finishing program with peas and barley and native grasses. I'm really excited to get out to Winifred and kind of, walk the land with Eric and understand his processes, his finishing program, and just like fully understand how he's able to create such delicious, flavorful, consistent product. The beef is fantastic.
So this area is pretty dry, pretty brittle, like lots of hard pan and clay soils, like sagebrush, that kind of stuff. But what we found is that it needs a lot of animal impact to kind of bring it back to life, basically. And so we've been pretty intensively grazing this stuff just to jumpstart the system. These grasslands, especially in the western U.S., kind of evolved with these large herbivores, and that was pre-cattle was bison, and but also herds of elk and antelope and deer and these different species. But they would typically roam, not all the time in every circumstance, but generally speaking they would roam in very large herds because there was natural predators. So the evolution of these grasslands was really based on this need to have a grazing animal essentially recycled the grass. Our land is primarily grasslands. What that means is it's a mix of grasses and forbs and shrubs, but not as many trees or forests or breaks or that kind of stuff. We're kind of in these this rolling foothills between the mountains and the breaks. This is wonderful cattle country. Yeah, they do really well. What I'm looking for is that we're staying in balance with our brush and our grass. We don't have the brush getting so thick that it's choking the grass completely out of the stands, that they're kind of intermixed. And then when they're in that ratio, or a proper ratio, they really support each other because their roots are going to different depths, they're picking up different nutrients, and everything is a little bit leaky underground, so they benefit from each other. That diversity of species roles or different just jobs within that system. The end result is healthier soils and healthier grass, healthier shrubs. Hi, girl. What we're doing on the land is it's a complex system, kind of like the human body. When I say impact, you can associate it with like exercise, right? You have to tear stuff down, then you have to let it rest, and it builds back stronger. And so just like pure rest all the time, just like with our human body, is not helpful after a while, right? Things like start breaking down and not functioning well, but too much exercise or impact all the time, again, starts breaking down the body, it starts breaking down the system. And so we might come in with heavy kind of impact, would be like a really intense workout. Then you better give a couple days, you better give plenty of rest for everything to rebuild. It's kind of a stupid analogy, but just thinking in terms of this is a really complex system that we're playing with, and we're just trying to induce these events that stress the system a little bit and then let it recover in order to make it stronger in the long run. And that's where the art of it comes in, is figuring out, how hard to push, when to push, and then when to back off and just kind of get a feel for what the land needs. you can just see the difference. This is what they went into a couple days ago, and this is what it looks like now. And then next year, depending on, you know, the factors of how much rain we get and all of that kind of stuff, it'll just come back stronger. We just try to improve it little by little every single year, and it's a long process, but we've done a lot in the, you know, in the 10 years that we've been really kind of managing holistically. We have increased the productivity and the health of this land, you know, at least 2 to 3x. So I'm really happy with it.
I just drove 3.5 hours sort of northeast of Bozeman to visit the Wickens Ranch. I've been trying to get out here for 2 years. I'm excited to be here and be out of the restaurant and just kind of learn more about where our food comes from. I love supporting local Montana families and this ranching way of life. I think the product is better. I feel better about buying it. And also I get to go visit them, which is pretty cool. Hey Eric.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too, man.
Yes, I'm glad you made it.
I've been meaning to get out here for like 2 years to see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I'm excited to show you what we're up to. Why don't we hop in my pickup and we'll go check out the feedlot.
Sounds good. Why is it special? Like, what is this? Is this a great place to raise cattle? Is it one of the best?
It's the best place for me because this is where I happen to live, right? And this is where my great grandpa happened to homestead, and I had absolutely nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? So I don't take credit for that. Like, just pure luck.
So your great grandfather came here how long ago?
My great grandpa homesteaded in 1911, I think, is the official the official date. Everything we run is on. Yeah, so this is our commodity shed, we call it, and it's just open bays that where we bring in like the peas and the barley and that kind of stuff.
And these are grown locally?
Yes. Yep. Cool. So the barley is literally from, you know, mile down the road, just from our neighbors. And what's great is it saves them a 60-mile one-way trip that they would have to do otherwise to get to the closest elevator to sell them. So they can just drive a mile, drop it off, get back to the field, and it works great for everybody. Just keeps the dollars, you know, we're just trying to keep those dollars circulating in this community as much as possible instead of always sending it out to somebody else.
These are peas here?
Yeah, these are the pea screenings. Yep. And these come from the High Line. They're green peas, you know, yellow peas. There's garbanzo beans, chickpeas they make hummus out of.
And this is much gentler on the digestive system than corn, is that correct? Or
so it serves a different purpose for us. This is it's really high protein.
Uh-huh.
And so like your barley or your corn is going to be high energy, high carbohydrates, sugar, that kind of stuff for putting fat on.
Uh-huh.
So when we test them, they're 20 to 23% protein.
Okay.
And so we use it like number one is like a protein supplement.
Uh-huh.
But that's how we started using them. But the nice result was that it changed the flavor of the fat a little bit, because peas are just like a little bit bitter, but when animals eat them, we found it gave them a really nice flavor. So this is the barley. So it's a mix of full and chunked up and powder and kind of everything in between. This is good for you and I, where you're a chef, you're dealing with really the end product of the
This is great for me to see. I mean, I've heard you talk about it and read everything about it, but to be able to see it is a totally different thing.
Just to get a visual on what it.
Yeah.
Do it with the animals as they're grazing and they're out, and that's fine. But they're just that's like it's a wonderful place for them, because they have the trees. And
These cows here are all being
this is our
finished?
beef. Yes, this is our beef program.
Okay.
Cows right here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I see, but there are peas and I
it's-
see it inside.
It's mixed in, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but this is what, like, visually, this is what the ration,
I'll take a picture of that.
what it
interesting.
looks like. It's like forage, it's grass with peas and barley sprinkled into it.
I really love using your beef because I feel like, as you said, that when something is finished on 100% corn, sometimes you lose a lot of the beefiness. It gets a little bit washed out. And it can be too rich. The sort of grass-fed, grass-finished beef sometimes doesn't have enough marbling to really carry the meat.
And the beef flavor itself, right?
Yeah.
It's like we want that really delicious beefy flavor.
Yeah.
Without it overwhelming or without it being kind of washed out.
But what you guys are doing here is sort of like a happy medium. There's an intense beefy flavor. There's some, there's some intermuscular marbling, but there's not too much of it. And, the texture and the flavor are right. So I think it shows, like, now that I've seen your feed program and how you do it, it makes sense that the end product is like that.
This is why I love to bring chefs out, chefs that are using our products, and just, show them what we're doing, and so they can just have a good visual of when they go back to the restaurant and they're cooking it, they're serving it, they're visiting with their customers about where this stuff came from. You get to
Absolutely.
speak about it from experience.
Yeah.
Just to continually pull back the covers on this stuff, because it is
food production.
It is.
Matters.
Yeah.
A little windy. I'm frying off a green curry paste. This is made with a whole bunch of lemongrass, some cilantro, some galangal, a lot of garlic and shallots. There's a little bit of cumin seed in here. Traditionally, I think the best green curries are made with beef, and I use Wickens beef for the green curry, so I wanted to cook it here for them. I used bavette for this. Bavette is such a versatile cut. It's also called a much less exotic name, flap. I prefer bavette. It braises beautifully, but it also makes a really delicious steak if you cook it correctly and slice it thin. When it's cooked off, I'm gonna add the coconut milk and the beef, which I've had simmering for about an hour and a half. Besides the green curry, I made a soup with short ribs. The short rib soup is called tom som, which means like sour soup. There's gonna be a lot of lemongrass, some galangal. I'm adding some tomatoes from Chance Farms. I'm gonna season it with salt and fish sauce and chili, and then I'm gonna sour it with tamarind water and finish it with a bunch of herbs, predominantly dill, lime leaves, and some cilantro. I'm also gonna make a beef lap. Lap is a chopped meat salad. Our lap is gonna be seasoned with lime juice and fish sauce and chilies and thickened with rice powder. I'm gonna stir fry some broccolini from Chance Farms with garlic and a little bit of ginger. And I'm also gonna make one of my favorite stir fries that's really common in the western parts of China. It's a cumin beef stir fry with lots of red onion, cilantro, Sichuan peppercorns, cumin seed, flank steak. All these dishes are gonna be eaten with rice, as you should. And now I'm gonna put it all together.